So, again, let me ask you something. Let him?
Yes.
Show of hands. Let him? Show of hands. You guys suck. Wait. No. Okay, how do you do this? You just see him right there and say, go for it, son. Trust God. Go. No, you wisdom says you coach him through this, and what you do, you kind of like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here. Let's slow it down. Let's work on a smaller hill. We'll get up to this, but let's take it slow. This is what a father does, is going to guide him through this. I don't want to crush your dreams. We'll get there, but let's check you out. Let's see what you got. Let's try small hills. Maybe some pads, maybe a helmet, right? But you don't crush him and say, you don't do it. See, most of you men were all like, yeah, let him do it. Most women, what will women say? No, you're different. Most moms will say no. And if the kid hears no often enough, what does he begin to understand? Because in many cases, men are not around. The dad's not around. The only person that's raised him is a woman. And they do, I promise you right now, if you're a female, you have no idea what it's like to be a man. You think you do, you don't. Just get over it. Whatever, you're wrong. Shut up. I'm serious, because this whole thing is, they've spun this thing around, and Andrew Tate overcorrected, and it's really bad. But where women would tell men, and men were stupid because they didn't know how to respond back. Women would tell men, "You're not a woman. You have no opinion in this matter of abortion. You're not a woman. You can't speak about women's issues." And men were like, "I think she's got a point. You're an idiot. Grow up. You can still talk about women's issues. You don't have to be a woman to talk about women's issues." My point here is that just like women don't have a clue what it's like to be a man, men really can't. We don't know what a woman is. However, we can still talk about these issues. When a boy like this hears, you can't do that. It's too dangerous. Translate what she's saying. You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. And then Freud, I think it was Freud, this is called the devouring mother. The devouring mother, one who overly protects. And she basically, I'm always here to protect you. I'm going to keep you safe. No, you're destroying this child. It's very important what you're supposed to get at this stage here. That says, keep me as the apple of your eye. You know, I'm God and keep you. Let's do this. Let's get some scriptures here. Who's got Psalm 17? Okay, you got Psalm 17. Who's got Jeremiah 3? Somebody sound off, come on. Yeah. Okay, who's got 2 Corinthians? Got it. Okay, you got it. Who's got Isaiah 43? I got Isaiah. You got it, Brandon. Who's got Romans 8? Okay. Whitney. And then Luke 15:20. He's got it right here. Okay. What's up, man? I didn't know you guys would make it. Okay, who's got the first one? Psalm 17.
Psalm 17.
Nice and loud. Listen, this all deals with boyhood and the father-son relationship. Go.
Keep me as the apple of the eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings.
The psalmist is saying, Lord, keep me as the apple of your eye. To be the apple of your eye, you're my prized possession. And hide me under the shadow of your wings. Who's got Jeremiah 3:19?
But I said, how can I put you among the children and give you a pleasant land, a beautiful heritage of the hosts of nations? And I said, you shall call me my father and not turn away from me.
You hear this? He's saying, he says, I want to bless you. God is telling the people, I want to bless you to the point where you're going to acknowledge me as your father and you'll be my children. And God is crying out, oh, how wonderful that's going to be when you finally call me father. All of us, and we need a father. We'll get to this. 2 Corinthians, who's got that one? Nice and loud.
I will be a father to you, and you will be my sons and daughters, says the Lord Almighty.
This is God. He says, I've established connection with you through Jesus Christ now. He said, I want to be a father to you. I want you to be my sons and my daughters. There's a craving. It's a hunger. Isaiah?
I will say to the north, give them up, and to the south, do not hold them back. Bring my sons from afar, and my daughters from the ends of the earth.
You hear this?
Everyone who is called by my name, whom I created for my glory, whom I formed and made.
This is God speaking, saying, let my sons go, let my daughters go. No, from the north, sons come. From the south, daughters come. Come back to me. God has a heart for us, man. You know what? This needs to be said. Every one of you You wrestle with your worth sometimes. You don't know what you're worth. Everybody look at me for a second. I know everybody's got their head down in the scriptures right now. You need to know this. You need to hear this. Your value, everyone tries to figure out what's my value, what am I worth? You are worth the life of Jesus Christ. That's what God says. You are worth the life of my son. Romans 8.
The spirit you receive does not make you slaves, so that you live in fear again. Rather, the spirit you received brought about your adoption to sonship, and by him we cry, Abba, Father.
See, Romans 8, 14, 15, and 16, it talks about, for as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. So if you're not being led by the Spirit of God, you're not his son. And then 15 talks about the spirit of adoption taking place. When you believe in Jesus Christ, he's not just God to you anymore, he's Father God to you. And then 16, it talks about the Spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are the sons of God. The Holy Spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are sons. That means sons and daughters of God. And then the last one, Luke 15, 20.
So he got up and went to his father. But while his son was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran, threw his arms around his neck, and kissed him.
So this is the story of the prodigal son. And the father saw the prodigal son returning. And what does this suggest when we read this passage?
Great love for his son.
Yeah, he's still looking for him, and he finally sees it. He's been looking for him for a while, and he's looking and he sees him. My boy came home, and he goes and he hugs him and has a great feast for him. This is the Father. The Father wants to be restored in your life. There's more to this. Watch this. We're talking about boyhood stage and fatherly foundation. So the boyhood stage, this age right here, is very, very important. This is where it all starts right here. It's a time of belovedness, of safety. Put it like this. When the author, he suggests that it's a time of safety. What does that safety mean? Let's say you're 6, 7 years old. Safety. What does that translate? What does that look like?
Not like being like restrained from going out, but like being overseen by your father.
Maybe overseen. Give me more. Give me more. This is big.
It's innocence.
What do you mean innocence?
Like from the, things that are out in this world, you see kids today being exposed to so many things.
Yeah.
The father is supposed to keep that out, those outside forces.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you something. The kid that was going Randy Ort, and he got on his head on the dresser and he started flipping over. Remember he did the somersault onto the dad? Was the kid's safety a concern to the daddy?
Yes.
Was the kid even aware of safety? No, the kid thinks I'm taking dad out. But dad, did you see him scoot over and everything, get up underneath there and catch him and like, oh, he got me. Safety. Safety. I know that my kid, he can't do this. He's going to break his neck, whatever. But what does his dad do? He ensures his safety. The boogeyman, safety. Clothes and food, safety. You remove that safety, what happens to this kid? Lack of guidance. What happens to the kid? Let's say you're 8 years old, big time fear. You're 8 years old and your safety net that you thought that you could count on, mom and dad got a divorce or dad's gone for whatever reason. What does that do to the kid?
Makes him feel alone.
You talk about shock. Dude, what do you think I felt like at 9 years old and dad's gone? And I'm the oldest boy. I don't have a clue of what it's like to be a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, and people are saying, you're the man of the house now. What the heck does that mean? I haven't even hit puberty. So it's a time of protection, it's freedom, just free to dream, free to, have an imagination. Check this out. Did you guys ever build forts? Yeah. Show of hands, how many of you built forts out of all your mattresses and box springs in the house? Yeah, it's common. How many of you ever went to go dig for treasure? Show of hands. All around the world, this is common. In Japan, in India, in Mexico, Africa. At some point, there's something triggers inside you. You know what? There's treasure around here somewhere. And you grab a shovel and you just start digging somewhere. Why? Why is this common in boys?
Adventure.
Oh, it's the blueprint of boys. It's in our DNA. It's not, and I'm sure there's been a young little girl who grabbed a shovel and figured she's going to go dig for treasure, but that's an anomaly. She's an exception. All right? But overwhelmingly, look, how many of you ever put on a towel or a cape or a Batman costume and you were changed And you were indestructible. You were bulletproof. This is what we do. I used to see, we'd go to this Bible study, and the couple, their kids would be outside playing, and I saw this little kid out there playing every week. And he's out there playing. I said, what do you want to be this week, or when you grow up? He said, I want to be a fireman when I grow up. Following week, what do you want to be when you grow up? He said, I want to be Batman when I grow up. Then, what do you want to be when you grow up? He said, I want to be a cowboy. What's going on with him?
Dreaming. Exploring.
See, he's exploring. This is his blueprint. This is his DNA. This is what he's called to be. Every boy, every male is called to be a hero. Turn to somebody, tell them, you're called to be a hero. No, say it like you mean it, because it's true. Every single one of you, listen, when kids, how many of you were destructive when you were playing and wrestling and growing up, and sticks and firecrackers and stuff like that? See, I promise you, it might have looked like it was destructive, but it was actually constructive. It should have been constructive. I had to qualify that a little bit. Because when we were visiting the folks, and we had 3 girls, and they were, I don't know, 7, 5, and 4 or something like that. I don't know. But they were sitting in the living room and doing girl stuff, just talking and whatever. All of my nephews came running in there like a whirlwind. And you would have thought there was 50 young boys in there. Yeah. They were doing all this stuff and flipping around on the carpet, tossing each other, headlocks and everything. Whirlwind, and then they leave out the door. And my daughters were just staring like, whoa, what was that? What was that? Why? Why'd they do it? Because the reality is they're practicing for their future. They're practicing for their role in life. They're practicing to be a hero. Just about every one of us at some point in our life wanted to be a hero. We knew we were created for something grand, something big. But we know that life has a way of just destroying that and taking that away from us and replacing it with fear, doubt, apprehension, suspicion, insecurity. Yes?
Yes.
Digging for treasure, jumping off roofs and building. Come on. This is the boyhood stage. And I guess the bottom line for the boyhood stage would be, it's a time for the boy just to be a boy. Just dream. The work is coming. The responsibilities are coming. The world is going to set on you. But for the time being, just be free. Be a boy. And if you're robbed of that, what's the consequence? What's the impact when that stage is fulfilled?
Validation.
If a boy gets that, I'm telling you, he gets that, he's a confident young man. He's confident. And he's getting ready to go into that next stage that we're going to talk about. And when he goes into that next stage, he's different. I promise you he's different. Because he's not worried. He doesn't have the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he shouldn't. But if he doesn't get that, I promise you, he's that kid, he's got problems. Sometimes they wet the bed. Sometimes they're just afraid of their own shadow. Sometimes they're insecure. They don't even want to try out for sports or anything like that. They just don't know. They've never been affirmed. They've never been validated. They just think everything is dangerous. Nothing is safe. And this is what happens, because the role of a dad is so important that if dad is there, then you're safe. If he's not there, then you're suspicious. You're suspicious that the world is evil and what's going to happen next. This is very important, because many of you are going to be dads. You're going to have children. You need to understand just the power of being a dad. And the stage is unfulfilled. You're invalid. Let me ask you this. When God spoke out of heaven, Matthew 3:17, when God spoke out of heaven and said, that's my boy. What do you think Jesus felt? When God the Father said, that's my boy right there. I'm proud of him. And what did Jesus feel? He's like, Daddy's proud of me. Yeah, Dad, that's my daddy. Right? I can imagine Jesus just glowing. And so likewise for us, you need to hear words of validation. And this is something I won't get to this tonight, but every one of you I need to look in your eye and tell you, you are a man, because half of you ain't never heard this and you don't know this. You're not sure of this, but I would look at every one of you and tell you, you are a man. You are a man. You are a man. And people wrestle with this. Well, what's a man? What's a man? When did I become a man? See, it's not a question of you're a man. The question is, what kind of man are you? We'll get to that. Throwbacks real quick, because we're going to hit the here in just a second. Let's keep recording, yeah. What throwbacks? What's the takeaway? Some of you new guys. Boyhood stage. Good or bad? What'd you take away? What's the high points? Words of affirmation. What do them words sound like? Encouraging. And one of the biggest things you can tell you, boy, I love you, boy. Love you. Kids eat that up. Your son will eat that up. Some of you new guys, what'd you get?
As a father, your safety net.
It's huge. That's a good point. Your father is your safety net. You had your hand up. Say again? Trust. That's a big word there. Trust. What happens if you don't get that kind of trust? It's not fostered in you as a boy. You're 8 years old and you don't trust anything.
You don't trust yourself.
Jeez, you can't even trust yourself. You know nothing. What'd you say? You had your hand up.
Teaching your marching.
Definitely. Standards, right from wrong. There are boundaries, there are standards. What'd you say? Huh? You said something, you had your hand up. Go ahead. Yeah, we impregnate with words. Matter of fact, I won't get into that. But the impressions you're making on people, you don't even have to speak words to people. You can make impressions upon them, right? Like Jonathan, I'm checking him out. He hasn't said a word in the last couple of minutes, but he's still making impressions on me. All of you, you're making impressions on me, right? Somebody else had their hand up. Go ahead.
They show you what discipline is. Fathers do.
Yeah, discipline. We need it. We'll get into that when we start talking about the cowboy and what is that and hard work and stuff like that.
Letting a father letting his son be free, but still protecting them.
Yeah, that's what a father knows when it's time to put him to work but there's a time. Just let him play. Just let him be a boy. Just let him be a boy. All right, so let's go ahead and stand up. This right here is just a personal prayer, and when you pray this prayer, you don't need to pair up with somebody. This is just a personal prayer.